Take it right down, take it right down, right down. Take it right down, take it right down, right down.
Yeah. Boom to the hay, all you sports fans out there in the tubosphere, to you, the individual, as part of the collective. Welcome to Fast Track Sports Rack Highlights here on Talk Radio version of the OMSR. I am your brief but concise host, Will, the alternative ESPN, or Tournament Thrill. Always do a little show like this, let you know the clip order coming up and the whys or wherefores. You get a significantly longer highlights reel that way, plus the quickie sport rants of the segment. As part of upcoming Gen 5.0, going to let you know what's going to be in the sport rant, but not do it until after the highlights coming up, plus all the legalese mumbo jumbo. It's a quickie disclaimer, but yeah, I just got to redo the graphics, and then, you know, Gen 5.0, boom, there it is. All right, we'll talk briefly and concisely about Final Four Saturday. I'm not talking too loud for you out there, right? Hey, believe you me, I was tying one on, being, you know, booster for UCONN for 20 years now. And I was able to stay up till about 10:30. Tried to sober up a little bit before going to bed. Yeah, that didn't work out too well. You know, hangover, waking you up at 04:30. Trying to, you know, go back to bed. Head's throbbing. Doesn't matter where you're laying it on the pillow. I said, forget it. I'm getting up at 5:30. Took a long shower, and here we are. So we got some highlights. The OMSR, enough to say that. I haven't had any help on this project this year. Did back in Gen 2.0. From both the games and some analysis taken from ESPN. On the Quickie Sport Rant, I'm going to talk about, you know, for the love of Thor, thank Valhalla, the fact that ESPN has a very healthy attitude towards the DMCA, or Sports Clip, as we know it on YouTube, couldn't exist as opposed to the NCAA and CBS. So the highlights are brief, the analysis is better. You get the Dickie-V experience as well. And frankly, they just do, you know, it's not that the personalities are better, it's a different experience, but let's face it, ESPN did 20 times the basketball this year than CBS. And then Quickie Sport Rant 2 is going to be about how the respective schools, UConn and Kentucky, got there. Okay, real quick.
And if Kentucky fans haven't seen enough drama this tournament, they had to wait until the final seconds for Aaron Harrison to send them back to the national championship game for the 12th time and Lexington into an all-night party. We start our party with Reese Davis of the College Game Day crew in Fort Worth.
AT&T Stadium, not far away from our location in Arlington, Jerry World. 80,000 or so watching the national semifinals tonight. Now positioned here in Sundance Square in the greater Dallas Metroplex, where two flames are still burning. One for the Wildcats and one for the Huskies. We wish one would come a little bit closer to this chilling set. Jay Williams, a freezing Nick Vitale, and Seth Greenberg alongside. And what a terrific second national semifinal we had. Kentucky and Wisconsin. Kentucky, the 8th seed. Wisconsin, a 2 seed. Bo Ryan getting to the Final Four for the first time at this level. A couple of Pennsylvania guys meeting, and this is not the kind of tweak that John Calipari wanted to see. Julius Randle rolled that ankle, but Seth, he would appear to be just fine.
He was just fine. You talk about a beast move. Kentucky dominated the paint for 40 minutes.
Second half, Kentucky out in full force. Marcus Lee, another signing for the McDonald's All-American, throwing down the punch, a 15-0 run. But Duke answers, Jay.
Duke was huge, coming off the bench, knocked down a couple of threes, kept Wisconsin in the ball game.
Dick, what about the contribution from Kentucky's Alex Poitras?
Poitras was absolutely sensational. Gave him more offensive rebounding, big plays, attacking the rim, and his size was a major factor.
Down the gun of the game, the heady play from Trayvon Jackson. Draw the foul on the 3 attempt from Andrew Harrison. Wisconsin shot 20 free throws, and that's the only one they missed all night. Jackson would make the next 2. Kentucky down by 2. You know it's Aaron Harrison time. See the three he hit all night. And now Jackson for the Bucky win. Nope. And Kentucky goes on to the national championship game. They'll make their 12th appearance trying to win it all for Big Blue Nation as Dickie-V Johnson and the Cats are celebrating their run through the tournament and yet another close game. Combined margin of victory for the Wildcats, a grand total of 18 points. No national finalist has ever played this many games with a smaller margin of victory, but the Wildcats march on. Another one-point victory, another clutch shot for Harrison, and a chance for another title for the Cats. A good laugh after that. What a terrific job he did. Wisconsin is just the fourth team in the NCAA tournament since seeding began in '79 to win one game by exactly a single point and then lose the next one by a single point. Oddly enough, Connecticut with that Kate George-Christian Leitner duo in 1990, the first one to do so. So now Wisconsin, despite a valiant effort, their season comes to an end, but Kentucky goes to the national championship game. And these freshmen, as Calipari mentioned, continue to mature. And once again, it was Harrison making the big shot. What did you think about the end of the game for the Cats?
Well, you know, put the ball in the hands of a guy that really feels and believes it. I thought he showed a lot of poise the way he squared up really well. Defense didn't challenge him like you'd like, but he squared up exceptionally well with confidence in making that shot. These diaper dandies are really extraordinary. They are unreal. I think the best in terms of achievement by a freshman class that I've witnessed. I mean, it's unreal. I know the Fab Five was terrific, but they didn't win the whole thing. And this club here has a chance now to win the entire thing. And I think the run that they've made to beat a one-seed undefeated team, Wichita State, come back, beat the defending champs Louisville, come back and beat the Big Ten champs Michigan, and then to do it again against a Wisconsin team as a number 2 seed is unique, special, and if they close it out, I mean, there's going to be celebration galore in Lexington, Kentucky. And John Calipari, paper said, $5-some million. Hey, John, by the way, keep the 5, give the V Foundation the .4.
Hey, what an amazing job by a young basketball team to execute their game plan. You didn't see the Harrison twins settle for one jump shot tonight. Wisconsin went under every single ball screen. They continued to attack the paint, and that's where Kentucky had a major advantage. Julius Randle, Dickie-V Johnson, Marcus Lee, they dominated that area. And then also, how about the job that Dickie-V Johnson did on Frank Kaminsky? He kept meeting him high every single time, didn't allow him to get down low to the block. Kaminsky only had 7 shots for only 8 points.
They had 46 points in the paint, totally dominated with that size and athleticism.
I thought both teams played really well. And I thought both teams played to their strengths and did what they do well. Wisconsin ran a little bit more in the first half. They got some points in transition. Kentucky dominated the paint. It was a tale of 3 or 4 games, but in the end, Kentucky's ability to make plays at the end of the game, what a great reflection on how this team has grown offensively and defensively. They got to stop at the end of the game, and they got a wide-open shot to win the basketball game. Both coaches did a terrific job. Teams competed hard. Terrific basketball game.
Harrison stole the spotlight. He deserves the spotlight for making those big shots. But let's not forget the contributions of Alex Poitras, who made all 4 of his shots, did a good job on the board with 7 rebounds. And the underappreciated dude who is wired to score, James Young, came up with 17 points, and Kentucky moves into the national championship game. The first national semifinal, number 1 overall seed, Florida, under Billy Donovan against UConn. Of course, Florida's on a 30-game winning streak. The last time the Gators had lost was when they played UConn back in December. Scotty Wilbekin rolled an ankle. Shabazz Napier ended up hitting the buzzer beater on a tip back. DeAndre Daniels slapped it back, and Napier knocked down the Gators. Gators hadn't lost since. And Napier, who didn't score a lot of points, knocked down the 3. Florida had a 12-point lead in the first half, but as it turns out, UConn did started manipulating their hustle. They stimulated their mind, and these Gators can't hold them back. These Gators can't hold them back. They'll both right with the steal, and Wilbekin had all kinds of trouble, Jay Will.
Yeah, and that's where UConn was great. They were great with the disruptive ball pressure all game long.
UConn now attacking the 1-3-1 zone, going right over the top today.
Oh, they did a tremendous job on 3 occasions, throwing the lob over the top. Great vision, great feel, the diagonal pass, the jam, and here they are celebrating, winning by 10.
63-53, Daniels goes double-double. Napier didn't score a lot as he had, but he had 12 points, 6 assists, 4 steals as they forced Wilbekin into by far his worst game of the postseason, certainly, perhaps of the entire season, as the Huskies go into the national championship game in Kevin Ollie's first tournament experience as a head coach.
All right, it's good stuff there. Sure, you guys were all watching or gals, watching these games. You know, now that you get the number breakdown, you know, as only ESPN could do it. By the way, this is part 1 of 3, but we're going to do a different voiceover each time. But because this particular show took like little itty bitty bits of highlights from the game, it's going to be a slightly longer sport rant, which leads us into sport rant number 1. And by the way, you know, the quickie sport rants, you know, they're relevant. I try to make them somewhat entertaining, but the main goal is to indemnify the OMSR position. Because CBS and the NCAA and your big 3 professional sports and even NASCAR, they've just gotten like completely fanatical about showing even like the tiniest little itty bitty sport clip from certain events, especially if there's like a seminal moment, like a massive NASCAR wreck, you know, the tire blowing out. I remember that last year, tried to show 3 minutes of that, even with a bunch of original content, and NASCAR didn't like that. This time around this year with the tournament, you know, CBS had a problem with 4 out of 9 shows, mind you, that I did from the first weekend, and a lot of those were shorter than the ones they didn't have a problem with, whether they were taken from the game or not. It's like, how the hell are you supposed to form a paradigm? You're trying to acknowledge, you know, the governing sports authority of the particular sports you are covering. And they're, you know, let's face it, they're right to the copyright, but there's also this thing called the DMCA, which allows minimal use, it's fair use standard, and derivatives, when that's sort of, well, monkey see, monkey don't do there. Oh, but that banana looks bigger, or coconut, not the best analogy, but you follow what I'm saying. It's like a double standard when that gets applied vis-a-vis the third-party content ID system on YouTube. So, for the love of Thor, you know, we're glad to have ESPN around. They do a better job on college basketball anyway. Although Vern Lundquist and Bill Raftery, that's a good, you know, any game that they do, that's going to be good to watch. Sport rant number 2, how the schools got here with UCONN. Do you think maybe it got in Florida's head when they started coming back from being down 16-4? At that moment, you could have easily said it might be stick a fork in time already, because it's done. And, you know, Kevin Ollie, he might be a rookie, well, not so much a rookie for this experience in his second year in the NCAA playoff system, but his NBA experience really showed through. Made better adjustments on the fly. When he took that timeout, it was 16-4. The game flips right then and there. And as far as Kentucky goes, I'll just say, yeah, they finally got their act together. So Big Blue Nation, you're living large, gotta be loving life. Okay. All the video highlights courtesy to ESPN and the respective universities' profile. A little shout out to the NCAA, everything else to the OMSR. Okay, we got parts 2 and 3 coming up as well, but I'm sure most of you are still sleeping off your hangover, so we'll make for good viewing tonight and tomorrow before the big game. That's it. Thanks for watching. No silly DUIs when you start round 2, celebrating the final game of college basketball this year. We are later out here.